Welcome back to the show. I had the chance to interview Marie Williams about her candidacy for Civil District Court Judge. Let's take a look. What about you and your background would you like the voters to know when making up their mind who to vote for this seat on the court?
First of all, I am a person who's self-made. I don't come from a wealthy family. My parents, my father only has a high school diploma, my mother has a GED, and he met her when he was in the military in Georgia. What really, I guess, prompted me, and I'll tell you, I have 6 brothers, no sisters, but out of everybody, I'm the only one who loves politics and going out there and fighting. And I'll give you this little short thing. My father, he was involved in the civil rights movement in Georgia, and the reason why he came back to New Orleans, he was hit in the head. He has a plate right now from not saying yes, sir. FBI came down, didn't find anything. He was jailed many times, and he thought that he would be killed. So he, you know, already by the time had 2 kids with my mom. And so he was like, the kid, it's just more important for him to be alive than me to be dead. So he came back to New Orleans. But I've kind of continued that fight because when I had left Danny Becknell doing the mass tort, I will tell you for 17 or 18 years, and even up to now, I started doing legal aid cases. I worked for the Pro Bono Project. I was the only staff attorney, and what I would do is help other attorneys. We would have people, you know, people call to see if other attorneys could volunteer to help us, because in one day I would have 25 appointments with people with just divorces, but not only that, we did successions, divorces, and we worked with domestic violence, homeless issues. I went to 5 different homeless shelters once a month, you know, to help. I mean, even little things with people not having their IDs just because, you know, they lost them or they don't have them, or, you know, trying to get some type of SSI, a disability, or mental, you know, some type of mental health. I worked with Unity for the Homeless. I'm a person who I want to give back to the community because myself, I came up poor, you know. I didn't have permanent housing until I was the age of 3. My parents lived in different houses, and when my father came back, he said he came to New Orleans with $17 in his pocket. And now he, you know, he made himself a construction business, but I'm a person who, they taught us the values of education. They taught us the values of giving back, and that's what I want to do, is serve, to give back my knowledge. And they taught us that, you know, basically never give up on whatever you want to do. And I'm a very positive person, I'm a very spiritual person, and I try to encourage others. I want to encourage them to do better, to do well. And so taking the bench, I feel, is a step up to help others who are having issues, you know, that I've gone through, that I understand where you're coming from. You know, and I'm not going to, I have the temperament to be the judge. I have the, I mean, I will be firm but fair. I will make sure firm on the attorneys not to keep continuing cases so they'll be in court for 2 and 3 years with a divorce or a domestic matter. But I have the temperament, the judicial temperament, to be a judge, and the experience and the know-how, and you have to really be a people person. You have to be with the community. And I'm in many different community organizations. I used to work with I did civil rights, fair housing. When President Obama worked with Acorn in Chicago, I was working in New Orleans. So, I mean, you know, we worked with the people, and so that's who I represent, the little man who doesn't have a voice, who doesn't have the money, who doesn't have the big pockets. Now, I'm not saying I haven't, that's private, but in my career has been basically working for the poor, working for the indigent, criminal and in civil. And I also wrote, helped write a grant to get an attorney hired, public defender 1, public defender in juvenile court. And I wrote a chapter in the Pro Bono manual, desk manual on successions, but it was for small successions, how to deal with it from the perspective of people who have no money. Okay. And so, and that's what I will bring to the bench. That's what sets me apart from my other opponents. Okay. I come from a humble beginnings, And that's what I want to bring to the bench, and that experience, and that's what makes me a big difference from them.
I'd like you to describe a situation in which you took a controversial or an unconventional position, and maybe as an attorney representing a client, and how you handled the reaction that you got to that position.
Okay. Well, oh boy, there are many. We had one case, I would say it was basically a civil rights case, but it was a discrimination case. And what we would do is have people call in to say they would want to look at a certain apartment or a house. And when the guy got to the place, the wife said, "Oh, I don't think my husband's going to sell to you because you're black." She said, yes, she literally said that. Okay, so she said that. And so what we did then was have him, through the Fair Housing Project, go back, wear a wire, we wire him up and have him talk to the man. And he basically said, I don't rent or sell to blacks or whatever. And so, basically we sued him, but we got punitive, but not compensatory damages. And the problem was that it went all the way to the Fifth Circuit, and because they appealed, of course, but we lost. Believe it or not, we lost. Because they said that you can't have punitive without compensatory. Really? So, yeah, so I mean, that was just one of the other where we took a really big hit, and I thought it was really bad. It's just because just morally it was wrong. And that was one of the cases. It wasn't. So it was controversial to them, and I mean, it became a racial issue, which we were just trying to do the right thing.
Well, at least you shined the light on them, and hopefully you got them a lot of publicity.
Yes, we did. I mean,
showing that they were.
Yeah, I mean, it even got to the point where some of our cases had to be facilitated, believe it or not. I don't know why the city council got involved. They had to get involved in some of our cases where they refused to rent to women and children, which is against Title VII. So you can't do that. So it kind of put me in the spotlight. People know me as fighter, public enemy number one. I'm against corruption. I'm against just discrimination of all from your race, sex, color, gender, everything. And if I fight for people, and usually I do get backlash from that, I'll be honest. I mean, because the people at the top or with the money, they're like, oh, just shut up. You're making too much waves, and they just wanted to shut up and wanted to go away. Whereas we keep pushing. I'm a marcher. I mean, I just marched in the Women's March we just had. So, I mean, that's something that I do. I mean, I've marched with Acorn. We went to Philadelphia. They rushed a bunch of financial institutions who were predatory lenders and those type of things, and they see us, as trouble. They call us troublemakers or whistleblowers, but that's what I think is sometimes needed,
Sure.
And I have taken a lot of heat from that.
Well, Marie Williams, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Redmann.
Thank you very much for being with us today.